Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. I, Nur Atia binti Muhammad Fauzin, will be with you for this 1 hour 30-minute slot of BUAL BICARA BERSAMA PAKAR STEM, hosted by Labuan Matriculation College. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so our audiences know how to participate in today's slot. Firstly, I'd like to announce the winners from slot 2. Congratulations to our grand prize winner, Siti Nur Azwa. For t-shirt winners, congrats to Ho Choi Lee, Lau Yi Chin, and finally, Eric Chong Yibun. Congrats! Okay, you will be contacted through email later. Secondly, I would like to remind our audience to fill in the attendance form in the video description below. This will allow you to get e-certs for students and SPLKPM points for lecturers. One more, before the end of this slot, we will have a short quiz where 4 winners will stand a chance to win a prize of 50 ringgit cash and 3 limited edition t-shirts. So do stay tuned till the end of this slot. Okay. These days, living in the digital era, it's supposed to be easier. But that is if we know how to access smart assistants that exist around us, like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistants. These things are actually forms of artificial intelligence. Our slot for today discusses about this highly in-demand field, artificial intelligence, or better known as AI. So, the questions that may come to our mind would sound like, what is artificial intelligence really? How can I learn AI? And if I'm interested, which university offers this course? What will the career pathway look like if I took AI? And what are the requirements needed to pursue studies in AI? But fret not, these questions will be uncovered by our guest panel as we go through this slide. Accompanying us today will be our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Zarin, a senior lecturer in the Department of Intelligent Computing and Analytics of University Technical Malaysia Melaka, or better known as UTM. So as we go through this slot, our respected audience are welcome and encouraged to raise any questions in the comment section below. We will attend to your questions during the Q&A session later. Without further ado, let's get to know our guest panel, Dr. Zarin. Dr. Nurzarin binti Zulkarnain received her degree in Information and Communication Technology, specifically in Software Engineering from University Technology Petronas. Her final year project was titled FaceSnap, Game-Based Courseware as a Learning Tool for Children with Social Impairment. She later pursued her master's in Advanced Computer Science, majoring in Artificial Intelligence in the University of Manchester, UK. In 2017, she completed her studies by pursuing a research degree in Computer Sciences with the research title A Medical Ultrasound Reporting System based on Domain Ontology. Dr. Zarin is also very well equipped when it comes to the knowledge of programming languages. Not only does she know Java, but also other languages like Python, C++, HTML, you name it. With all this being said, students, do not miss this opportunity to ask as many questions as you can during the Q&A later. It's not every day that we meet a scholar as esteemed as Dr. Zarin. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarin, for joining us today. How are you?
Hi, thank you, Miss Atia. Yes, I'm doing very well actually. How about you?
Alhamdulillah, me too. Okay, I'm sure that our audience, well, majority are LMC students, very much anticipate on today's topic. Okay, without any more delay, we will begin the introduction to AI. I'm sure Dr. Zarin would love to give an in-depth introduction. Dr. Zarin, you may begin.
All right, thank you, Miss Atia, for all this lovely introduction. Okay, so Assalamualaikum, very good afternoon to all of you. Today, I'm here to talk about a topic very close to my heart, which is artificial intelligence. So, as being introduced, my name is Dr. Nur Zarin Zulkarnain. You can just call me Dr. Zarin. I'm a senior lecturer in the Department of Intelligent Computing and Analytics, UTEM in Malacca. So just a little bit on our university. So we're in Malacca, so one of the UNESCO heritage site. So a lot of places for you to visit. We was established in the year 2000, and UTEM often pride itself as a practical university. So we don't just teach the theory, but we encourage students to apply all this theories that have been taught. So there's a lot of hands-on instead of just theoretical lectures. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about artificial intelligence. So before I start, I want to know a little bit on what all of you know about AI. So let's start with an activity. So I'm going to share a screen. Okay, I think the MCs will also share a link as well. Yep.
Yes, there will be the link to menti.com, so you
All right.
guys can enter the room code or click the link at the comment below.
All right. Yep. So you should be seeing the screen now. Okay. So if you enter the link, you will be able to see this question. So what do you think of when I mention the word AI? Right. So let's give maybe a minute or two. Right. So we're seeing some responses now. Okay, Alexa, seamless automation machine, Siri, robots, right? So what else? So Alexa and Siri, of course, that's AI. It's a form of personal assistance, I would say. Siri, those who have handphones, iPhone, of course, you have Siri, if you're familiar with that. Then automation, automate, and all that. Yes, AI helps you with automation. We have robots, good. Then what else? Modern, yes. Seamless. Right, let's wait for a little more. Oh, AlphaGo, interesting. So AlphaGo, the one that answer AlphaGo, I believe plays a lot of games. So deep learning is being used for playing AlphaGo, allowing AI to play games. What else do we have here? Technology assistant, Google Assistant, Terminator. Okay, that's interesting. Uh, I'm not sure whether that's an AI, but maybe that starts off it, yeah. Because we have part human, part robot there, right? Sophia,
Right.
yes, yeah. Sophia is one advanced AI robot. We call that humanoid because it looks like a human, and it does have all those facial expression and all that. What else? Face unlock, yes. All right, technology, Jarvis, of course. Iron Man, Deep Blue. All right, good, Deep Blue. All right, interesting. You guys have the keywords that I think shows that you know what AI is. That is good. Right. Okay, maybe we stop here and let's jump in straight to the topic. All right. So I will stop with this screen and we move back to the slides. Just a moment. All right. Right, so you should be able to see the slides again. Right, so I'm very happy to see your answers. So it shows that most of you are aware of what AI is. So I can go through quite fast, yeah? Okay. So basically, today I'm going to touch about three things. Firstly, on what is artificial intelligence, how AI works, so a simple introduction on how it works, and finally, why you need to learn about AI. Right. So before we talk about artificial intelligence, let's learn a bit about what intelligence actually is. So it is defined as having the capacity to learn and solve problems, ability to adapt oneself to new situations. So whatever new things that are being thrown to you, you can adapt, and having learned or the ability to learn and adjust to the environment. So safe to say that almost all humans would have intelligence because you would not be able to do all these things without having intelligence. So mainly we put intelligence into three major definition, which is learning and adaptation, ability to interact with the real world, and reasoning and planning. So some of the tasks that you'll be able to do is to speak and write, making common sense, make decisions, self-guidance, problem solving, sorry, and then doing some prediction, forecasting, classify things. All of these are the traits of those who have intelligence. So AI actually begin with this article. So if you know about Alan Turing, if you watch the movie, you would know that Alan Turing is one of the pioneers in AI. He started off AI by asking the question, can machine think? Okay, so this was the original article. It was written in 1950, way back, and it started the revolution on AI. So in trying to portray AI, Alan Turing come up with this what we call Turing test, whereby it is an imitation game trying to test whether a machine or a computer can mimic human to the point that we cannot detect that that is a machine. Right? So we would have questions like who or what is behind the computer? Is it a human? Is it a machine? Right? So if you cannot detect that it's a human, it's a machine, then that machine would have passed Turing test. Okay. So this is a long time ago, and we're still doing AI. So Alan Turing also did have this question: if a computer could imitate the sentient behavior of a human, so sentient here basically means able to have feelings, able to know about feelings. So would that imply that the computer itself was sentient? So he was asking if robots, machines, and all that are able to understand human um, the feelings and everything, would they be able to become human as well? So having the same feeling, the same reasoning, and the same common sense like human do. So this is just a picture of Alan Turing building in the University of Manchester. So this is I think maths faculty paying a tribute towards Alan Turing. Right. So after talking about intelligence, we want to know what artificial intelligence is. So John McCarthy here is we would call it father of AI. Okay, even though Alan Turing started with the question, but John McCarthy does a lot of work defining it. So he said AI is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. However, with many definitions, none actually mention what are the criteria that makes a machine intelligent. Up until quite maybe 10 years ago, sometime like that, they came up with these four characteristics. So for a machine to be intelligent, they need to be able to think humanly, think rationally, act humanly, and act rationally as well. So if they manage to do all this, then we could say that that machine um, possess the highest level of artificial intelligence. Okay. There are a lot of applications in AI, but these are the six major branches. So we have expert systems. So this is like decision making system. You maybe ask questions and then you answer, and then they will give you a decision. So maybe if application wise for medical systems, so you put in your symptoms and it will guess what is the condition that you're having. Then robotics, I'm sure you know robotics. There's a lot of examples like robot vacuum and all that. And then we have machine learning, which I will talk more about later on, neural network, fuzzy logic, as well as natural language processing. So today, I'm going to show you some examples on AI. Okay, believe it or not, it's all around us. I'm sure all of you would have encountered AI once, at least in your life. In this picture here, you can see we have this is what they call baby, right? It's being developed, I think built in Manchester in 1948. So this is how a computer would look like before this. Imagine if we still have this kind of computer and then you have online classes, it would take up your whole room.
Very, very difficult.
Yes. So now we have in these pictures an iPad. It's a lot smaller, but this iPad has 10,000 times more power and is much faster than the baby here. So this kind of advancement, not just in the field of AI, but the field of manufacturing and all that electronics, that allows us to have devices very small but very powerful. These are the reasons why AI is now accelerating. Okay, before this, maybe the hardware part obstruct us from making it available all everywhere. But now, because of the advancement, we're able to have it. So I'm sure you're familiar with this. Phones now have, if not your thumbprint ID, you would have your face ID to unlock your phone. And then in Facebook or wherever, you would have suggestions saying that this is a person that you might know, or this is yourself. So whether you want to tag yourself in this picture. And then if you use Netflix or other movie streaming platform, you will realize that after some time, you will suggest to you some movies that you might like. So like this one, it's a kids account, so it will only suggest movies related to kids. Okay. And if you realize in your phones now, the phones are able to tell the categories of the pictures you have. So you don't actually label saying that, okay, this is a sporting event, this is a forest, whatever. You did not mention that, but it will look at those pictures and try to group them together. Okay, so in AI term, we call this as classification. So all this that you're seeing is made possible by what we call as machine learning, one of the branches of AI. So it is concerned with computer programs that automatically improve their performance with experience. So it will, usually what happens is that we would need to train that AI algorithm. So if you want to get them to know your pictures, so you need to feed them with a lot of pictures, and then it will be able to recognize. Same goes like Netflix. So if you log in for the first time, you use it for the first time, it might not know you yet. So it would not suggest movies that you would like. But after looking at your history, the type of movies that you're watching, so it will start learning about you, and it will give you the suggestion that you would like. Right? So that is machine learning. So we have computer vision, recommender system, prediction system as well. So this image here is, I would say, one of the applications as well. It is called augmented reality. So we're using a device so that we can see interactive information being put up in places that would usually be static, right? So one of the popular application would be in face recognition or image recognition. So this is a very, very, very general introduction because of the time we have. So if let's say you want to try to get to do a face recognition system, what you need is obviously images. Okay, so you need to capture a lot of images. So if you're doing on faces, capture your face with a lot of expressions. So the more data that you have, the more images that you have, the more it learns, right? So if you only feed your face smiling, so maybe when you show an angry face or whatever, it might not be able to detect. So it's good to have a lot and a variety of it. And after we have trained it, so the algorithm knows about your face and everything, it will be able to recognize. So it will look at your eyes, your face, and everything. And if it matches, if it has an enough percentage to say that that's you, then it will produce an output. So this can be many things lah. So if in your iPhone, if it matches, then it will unlock the phone, right? So that's a lot of applications on this. This is one example using image recognition to recognize people and object. So AI is quite powerful, whereby even though this object here, it looks like a human, you would say, right? But
Yeah.
after looking at a lot of images, this AI would know that human would stay on the ground, right?
Mm.
So up here, most probably it's not human. So it's labeling it as object. That's why they need a lot of images to do the training. Okay. So this is another example. If you realize nowadays football players, they wear this kind of device that tracks a lot of things. So not just a lot of things are their heartbeat, their speed, and things like that. And we also have cameras to do things like to check whether it's a goal or not, whether it's offline or not, offside or not. And you can also detect, like for example here, Lukaku here is playing a dummy. So after looking at a lot of videos on Lukaku, even before Lukaku does the dummy, the AI will be able to detect that he's going to do that based on the way, right? So even in the
Interesting.
recent Olympics, the team from China, they did use AI as well to train athletes for diving, for playing ping pong, if I'm not mistaken. That there are a few sports that they use AI to do trainings. And even in football nowadays, they even use what we call as data analytics to try and see which players would fit the team best. So they can do some predictions and things like that lah, to help improve their team. Okay. Other than that, this is in maybe the field of agriculture. So instead of going around picking your own apples, you can get AI to help tell you whether it's ripe or not. And if you have a robot, they can pick it up for you. So like on the right side here, this is an example of a project of one of my students. So you can see here, there's a camera. The phone here acts as a camera to try and see whether the lettuce here is fully grown or not. So if it's fully grown, the robot will pick it up. So you can see here,
Wow.
right? But
Yeah.
um, I don't know, sleepy fingers or something. So it's not able to pick it up, but still it's able to detect lah which one is the
Is
one that it
right.
should, right? So AI has a lot of applications. This is what we call IoT, Internet of Things, whereby you can build smart houses. So these are examples of Apple's HomePod. You can control the lighting, the sound. So this one you can even lock and unlock a door, even when you're not home.
Mm.
You can turn on the lights. So if it's a hot day and you want to come back to a cool room, you can turn on your aircon, basically using
Wow.
the apps that you have. Then this one is a chatbot. So I believe a lot of companies, organizations have a chatbot nowadays, whereby it helps you answer questions without needing a human to be there to attend to you. So by having this kind of robot, it helps you with less people. Like you can ask at any time because there's no working hour, and they can entertain a lot more people at one time. So this part here, this is when you search something, it will try to predict. So I type in what is A. So because maybe I search a lot on artificial intelligence, so it simply gives me some suggestions on what I might want to search. And AI also helps with checking our spellings, grammars, and things like that. So it can gives you, like this one is using the Grammarly application. So it gives you the correctness, clarity, engagement. So not just simply looking at whether the spelling is correct or not, but it can also look at whether the paragraph itself is the flow correct, or are you missing something? It can suggest you to make your writing much better. And more examples. So this one is combining computer vision and translation. So you point your camera to a text. If you have a Google Translate app in your phone, you can try this. You can point it to an image which is in a different language, and it will automatically translate to the language that you want.
Wow, that's great.
Right? So this helps a lot, like if you go traveling, so you
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
ask people, can. So you just take your camera, point it to the maybe your food or whatever, and you will get to know the translated ingredients or things like that. So this is another example. This is Cortana. So if you're using Microsoft emails, you would have this weekly email, I think, from Cortana telling you that, okay, this is a summary of your email. So this is what you need to do next week. So basically, it reads through your email and give you a summary of it. All this related to speech, related to text, falls under what we call as natural language processing. So in AI, this is my area actually. I do a lot of research in this part. So NLP here is what enables computer to analyze and understand human language. Okay, so it's not just understanding the words, but also the emotions behind the words. So the ultimate objective basically is to read, decipher, understand, and make sense. This is an example. If you're conversing with a robot or whatever, what's going to happen is whatever audio that you let out, the robot will convert it into text. So, for example, hello here. Obviously, the robot will not be able to read this. So, there's going to be another translation here, making it into machine language. And it will answer and it will convert it again into audio, and the robot would speak it out so that you would understand the response. And this happens very, very, very fast so that we could have a real-time conversation. Okay, so this is also very simple introduction on how it works. Again, there's a lot of applications if we look at text and if we analyze it. So if you can see in this image here on the right, we have this map whereby they try to predict heart disease rates based on what people tweet. So maybe they try to see a demographic of people and okay, maybe today they're talking about eating some things, and then maybe they're quite stressed out with work or whatever. So based on those information, they would plot this. So it would try to predict. So maybe this area less death, this area more death, and this is the actual one based on death certificates. So there's not much difference, right? So
Yeah.
it shows that it's quite powerful, all this information that you have online. And another application would be on targeted marketing. So I'm sure you have experienced this. Maybe you're quite annoyed with it as well. I don't know.
Banyak
For maybe,
ads.
yeah, a shoe or something, a clothing or something,
Oh,
suddenly
yes.
all your ads in Instagram, Facebook, whatever would be on that thing. Right?
Yes. That is
So
very
this is,
dangerous.
yeah, it depends. Yeah. So this is all NLP as well. So it
Okay.
looks at what you search, and it will give you the suggestion related to it. So this can be in two forms, like you mentioned. It can be dangerous, but it can also be beneficial. There's two way of looking at it, lah.
Mm.
If you're looking at maybe you want to buy a new shoe, you search for it, and then if the ads that you get are those related to you, it might help with your search lah. So like for example, I'm
Yeah,
looking for a
true.
shoe, suddenly there's an ad of Alisan ada apa, 40% discount or whatever kan.
Yeah.
So it helps
Yeah,
compared to
that
getting
helps.
ads that doesn't relate to you, right? But it's true lah, privacy is one thing. So if you're not what I say comfortable with this, then you are able to turn off. So make sure your apps are not tracking what you are searching lah. So this all are privacy issues that you can control, right?
Okay.
Okay, so this is maybe the last part before I pass to the MC. So why learn AI? Yeah. It's not just for work, it's not just for money, but AI is now everywhere. Okay. So because it's everywhere, you need to at least know about it. Because if you don't know, then you won't understand. And when you don't understand, you'll be scared of it. I know there's a lot of people who are quite skeptical with AI, afraid that they'll take over the world, take over your job and everything. But that's why it's important to learn AI, because you would know that whatever it is, human being is still the most powerful compared to robots, AI, and all this. And you would understand the best way to work with this AI, so that we can work hand in hand to make the world a better place, right? So that is one side. But if you are interested with AI, or you plan to venture into AI, then there's a lot of jobs waiting for you. So this is being taken from World Economic Forum. So it's predicting the future of jobs between 2020 to 2025. So this is the top 10 jobs. And number one, two, three, and then number five, and the last one, number 10 here, is all AI. So the top one is data analyst and scientist. So I would say data analyst, data scientist nowadays would be in any companies. Most big companies now have either the whole team, the whole department, or a few people working doing analytics. So whatever fields, like I mentioned just now, sports, they can do it. They use data analytics as well. Businesses, even oil and gas, because they want to try to maybe predict when will this well stop having oil, which part should they dig for more oil, or things like that. So almost all companies now use data analytics. And then next would be AI and machine learning specialists. So these are the people who works on algorithms, trying to implement AI as a solution. And then we have big data specialists. This one works on data in I know 1,000 gigabytes, or things like that, very very big data, and try to get insights from it. You would also have process automation specialists. So these people works on trying to get um, repetitive tasks as automated as possible. And finally, Internet of Things specialist. So this one works on making smart homes, smart cities, working on the hardwares as well as the algorithm part of it. So if in Malaysia, the pay is quite good. So data scientists, like I mentioned just now, working on large amounts of data, trying to get insights and solutions. So you would get an average salary of 7,299, and the maximum salary could go to 15,000. And this is only a data scientist. So you're not yet the lead or the senior data scientist. So you could earn much, much more than this as well. So like AI specialists and machine learning specialists, almost the same work, just that AI specialist is more on the um, helping with the computer part itself. The machine learning is more on the algorithm part, and the salary is about 7,490 and can go to max to 11,500. Right. So I think that's all from me for now. So maybe the MC, you would like to take over?
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarin. That was a
Um,
very intricate explanation on what AI really means and how we actually use AI now, right? So from what Dr. Zarin shared with us, the AI field is developing quite tremendously. Even in Olympics, they are already using AI, and I'm sure many of our audiences are very intrigued now, thinking, can I pursue AI? Right. So my next question is, what does it take for students to pursue AI? Does Dr. Zarin have any tips for students before they enter the real world profession? And are there any characteristics that these students should have? Would you care to share, Doctor?
all right. Thank you, Miss Atia. So, as in any field, I would say the first thing you need to have is passion, right? So, whatever fields that you would like to venture, make sure it is something that you like, because there's a saying that if you have fun when working, so it's not like working, something like that.
Right.
And there's also this one quote from Dale Carnegie that I always hold dearly to myself is, people usually will succeed if they have fun in what they're doing, right? So you need to have passion so that you have fun in what you're doing. So even in AI, before I start doing AI, I started off with computer science. So I think back in, I don't remember when, many years ago, when I was in Form 4, I took
Oh.
IT as an extra subject. At that time, everyone wants a lot of A's, right? At that time, um, as much of A's as you can get. So I
Yeah,
took IT, just wanted to add one more A's, hopefully, for my SPM. But when I started the class, I actually fell in love with the subject. I really, really like how computer science is able to help you solve problems. I felt this when I created my first program. So there's a problem. It's just a simple problem to calculate your BMI. Okay, so
Oh,
it's a
FMI.
programming task for you to put in your weight, put in your weight, and then it will give you the BMI. A lot of errors first time, of course, but once I get to do it, that's a very nice accomplishment feeling, So I say to myself that, okay, I like this field, I like what it does, I like the potential that it has, and I want to pursue this. So that's where it all started lah. And then after my SPM, I went to UTP. I did my degree there. This is where I first learned about AI. There's a subject on AI. So at this time, AI is not yet a course lah. It's just a subject. So I fell in love with it, and then I said to myself, I'm going to pursue further doing masters. So I managed to go to University of Manchester to do my masters in artificial intelligence. So here I work a lot on various AI related tasks, and this is the first time I learn about NLP, natural language processing, and ontology. So I like words, and I like how words can do a lot of things. It can be good, it can manipulate you. So I like the idea of that. And yeah, being in Manchester gives me a lot of opportunity. So I'm a Manchester United fan. So obviously this is one of the perks. I get to watch matches at the stadium, and then I get to meet players. And
Wow.
despite all that, I still managed to graduate, alhamdulillah. And then
Alhamdulillah.
I further my PhD doing ontology because yep, I fell in love with ontology, with words and all that, and I decided to pursue that for my PhD. I've graduated in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, and then I start working as a lecturer in UTEM. So these are some of my students in one of the competitions that we held. Right. So um, other than passion, I would say for non-technical skills, these are some that you might need to have. It's good to have. I wouldn't say you must have it, but it's good to have problem-solving skills, because if you cannot think of how to solve a problem, it will be hard for you to come up with an algorithm, because algorithm basically tries to solve a problem. And then you need to also have creativity. So creativity comes in many ways. That's why for my students, if they want to play games, if they want to do whatever non-class related things, it's okay, because that's the part that builds their creativity and it helps them with coming up with solutions. And then you should have critical thinking. So when you think about a problem, look at all the aspects possible. And one important skill is also curiosity. So AI is a field that uh, it gets advanced very fast, and it changes very very fast as well. So if you don't have enough curiosity to learn new things, then it'll be a little bit hard because if you take AI, it changes so much. So you need to learn a lot. So some stuff that I've learned maybe 2-3 years ago, it's not. I wouldn't say it's not relevant. Like for example, Python used to be very popular and is still quite popular now. But now that I finally learned Python and all that, there's another language called Julia, which is much more
Julia.
spoken.
Hmm.
So you need to keep learning and learning and learning. So that's why if you don't have passion, you don't have creativity and all this, it might give you some problem lah. But if you talk about technical skills, these are some that would help you. Okay, I won't say that it's necessary, but if you're willing to learn, then that's good enough. So of course, math, some of statistics, probability, and all that will help you in doing predictions, will help you in understanding your results. Because when you're doing AI, especially if you feed data into models and all that, you might not understand the result. So maths help. Of course, science, so physics, mechanics, cognitive, when you talk about behaviors. So because AI also helps you learn a lot about behaviors, human behaviors. So cognitive helps as well, and language processing, and of course computer science, programming, and logic. So programming here, I think many people are quite afraid about programming. But if you want to pursue AI, it depends. If you want to be someone who uses AI, programming is not a necessity. But if you want to be someone who creates AI, you would need programming. I'm saying this because let's say you want to be a data analyst. Nowadays, there's a lot of tools that would help you. So having programming skill is good, but if you don't have programming skills, you can still learn and use this sort of tools to help you. But if you want to be um, someone working in AI, working with algorithms, coming up with the tools that help non-technical peoples, then you would need programming skill.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that's on the skills lah that I would suggest.
Tips and
Should have.
information. All right. Thank you so much for those tips and information, Doctor. So
Yep.
first, you must have passion and the traits mentioned just now, and also math, science, and computer science subjects will really help you lah if you want to pursue AI. So well done, students. Who knows, one day you can reach this stage just like Dr. Zarin and go to University of Manchester, kan?
I'm sure
So
you
this
can.
makes, I'm sure they can, inshallah. This makes me myself wonder, how does one enter this profession in AI field? There must be like a certain pathway to enter the AI field. Would you like to share maybe like a general pathway, Doctor?
All right. Okay. So from matriculation, the next step would usually be degree. So because I'm from UTEM, so these are some of the courses that we have. Um, we do have diploma in information technology in Fakulty Teknologi Maklumat and Komunikasi. We also have Bachelor of Information Technology and Bachelor of Computer Science. So if you want to learn AI, so this is the one that you would take. Bachelor of Computer Science with specialization in artificial intelligence. Right? So if you're from matriculation, usually you would go to the normal entry, and then you would start with year one. It's gonna be about 4 years. You would have a lot of, because like I mentioned just now, UTEM we do a lot of practicals. So instead of just having classes, you would have capstones whereby you would need to do hands-on. So we have what we call workshop one, where you build usually just a website. Okay, workshop two, where you build intelligent systems, maybe robotic applications, a computer vision app or something like that. And workshop two would usually be a group work, and then you would have the final year project lah, obviously, whereby you would implement everything that you have learned throughout. If you're not from matriculation, you can also enter from SPM, take the diploma first in information technology, and then go direct to degree in AI. And even if you have already received a diploma, not in information technology, it is still possible as well to continue doing degree. But we will need to look at what are the subjects that you've taken, especially in terms of mathematics and the computer subjects, lah, maybe some programmings or things like that. So um, in UTEM, there's a lot of hands-on, like I mentioned. So in workshop 2, you would be building robots like this using, this is what we call EV3. Okay, and our students enters a lot of competition. So they using this kind of robots. These are two teams going to the robotic Olympiad. So both
Wow.
are this both are world level, international level.
Mm.
So I'm not sure which year is this. They went to Costa Rica, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
This is the latest one before the pandemic, 2019. So they went to Hungary. So yeah, you would have all these chances to enter competition and travel the world, because we encourage our students to not just learn theoretically, but to also apply what they learn. Same goes to this as well. The students, I'm also coincidentally the AI club advisor. So during sun break or sometimes at the weekend, we do what we call ICT camp. So we get students from secondary school, primary school, and we teach them coding. So like this is one of the coding class, and I like the T-shirt that the student is wearing, saying that everyone should learn how to code. It teach you how to code. So this is, I think,
Oh.
from Steve Jobs. And this picture here is showing our students teaching primary school students to build their own robot using Lego. Right? So
Lego?
using Lego.
Oh,
They
okay.
use Lego and then some other components lah, Arduino and all
Mm.
that. Primary school student children, they really like this. Usually we would have full enrollment lah for ICT camps for the robotics. And then we also have, of course, sports lah. From time to time, they play sports as well. So don't worry, it's not all just technical things. You also get to experience sports and leisure things and all that. And other than this, there's also another option. If let's say you already got your degree and then suddenly you feel like, alah, kenapa dulu tak buat AI? Something like that lah. It's still possible if you want to venture, for example, data analytics, because we do have programs outside of UTEM under the government, kira macam MDEC and all that. You can have a look at that, whereby let's say lah, macam contoh, one of my friends, she did petroleum engineering for her degree, so she graduated, but she went for a data analytics course. I think dalam 6 months to 8 months macam tu lah, doing trainings, learning, doing training, and now she's a data analyst. So even though you don't start with computer science or AI, it's still not too late for you to join AI and do something on data analytics and all that. It's still possible. Don't worry. So I
Okay.
guess
Wow.
that's it.
Wow. So it will never be too late, even for me.
Yeah. As long as you
So
want to learn.
yeah, that's true. UTEM really offers quite a range of AI courses among other courses, right? So, dear audience, if you're thinking of pursuing AI or related courses, you can take note of that. So, thank you, Dr. Zarin, for all those information. And moving on, since Dr. Zarin has been dwelling in this field for quite some time, I'm sure you have a few research projects that are quite interesting, right? I read the title and it sounds very interesting. Can I ask Dr. Zarin, what are the projects that you've completed, and are there any ongoing research projects that you love to share here with us?
All right. Like I mentioned just now, I do a lot of works on NLP. So my previous work before this I did do, like, for example, working on medical reports, trying to um, let's say the doctors are writing it in a form of paragraphs, we change it into a standard form so that the doctors can write in whatever way they want. We make it in a standard form to help them with that. And then I work a lot on ontologies, trying to analyze human traffic behaviors based on their tweets and things like that. But I think I would like to talk more on what my recent research would be lah. Now I work a lot on social media analytics, which is basically the process of representing, analyzing, and extracting actionable patterns from social media data. I work a lot on Twitter data. So I extract public data from Twitter and trying to gain insights. Many applications. It could be like, if I'm working with industry, sometimes they want to know about their brand. So we would try to detect and see what other people's opinion on their brand. And then maybe I implement things like sentiment analysis. So if we're talking about a person, for example, a politician, if they want to compete, they want to know what are the public's reception on them. So we can use what we call sentiment analysis. For example, a new movie came out and the producers want to know whether they're having good review or bad review. Sentiment analysis helps. But I think to highlight the most interesting one that I quite recently do was on depression detection, because nowadays there's a lot of cases, right, on depression, stress, anxiety, and all that. So we are trying to look at if it's possible to look try to detect whether a single tweet is signaling depression or not. So
Wow.
usually when they do about depression detection, they would look at the whole tweet. So trying to observe one person, look at the tweet, how many times they tweet, at what time, and things like that. But we don't want to do that because we don't want to, because tracking a person takes time, and tracking many person would take more time, right? So we are trying to look at tweet by tweet. So just looking at the tweet, look at the content, look at the tone of the tweet, whether it's positive or negative, look at the words that they use, because like in depression cases, it is reported that they would use words like what we call absolute words here, things like, why is it always my fault? So the word always there, or I'm never going to do that again. The word never, something that signals entirety. So not doing it at all, or why is it always me? Maximum, you put the blame fully on you, right? And then we look as well at the point of view. So depressed people usually talk about themselves. So I this, I that. So this was the most recent work lah we did, and we presented it at a conference about a month ago, I think, and we got the best paper for this. Alhamdulillah. So yeah, I would say this is one of the most interesting research I'm currently doing lah, and looking forward to do more work on this as well. Yeah.
That's wow, that's really amazing, Dr. Zarin. Usually we'd scroll on Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, and just pass by posts or quotes, right, about people's feelings. But with knowledge in AI, even depression can actually be detected through these social media tags.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so before we continue with the Q&A session, maybe Dr. Zarin, would you like to share any words of encouragement to mostly our students, our audiences,
Mhm.
so that they pursue this field?
All right. Uh, Usually when I talk about AI, I like to tell the story of Gary Kasparov here. So if you watch Queen Gambit, I think the most there's one series in Netflix talking about chess.
Uh-huh.
Gary Kasparov here is the world champion, one of the first chess world champion, and he lost to a machine called Deep Blue. So Deep Blue here is an AI that plays chess. So Gary Kasparov lose to Deep Blue lah. So he always says that if you talk about AI taking over his job or whatever's job, he would be the first person that the AI can take over his job. But that didn't happen because he mentioned that there are some things that only human possess. One of it would be creativity. And he always promotes that the way to move forward is not to be afraid of AI, but instead to collaborate with them. So having a human machine collaboration. So he says that if you can't beat them, join them, right? So he mentioned this when he talks at the White House. So he's saying that instead of worrying about powerful AI in the future, we should be concerned about the lack of intelligence in the Oval Office today. So Oval Office here is referring to the White House. So same like Gary Kasparov, what my last words I would say is for you not to not be afraid of learning, right? So don't be worried about whether AI is going to take over your job, worry about this and that. Instead, improve yourself, learn, and always learn. So if you're always learning, inshallah, you would be okay and you would survive lah. So I would say that lah. Lifelong learning, always learn.
Yeah,
All right?
so lifelong learning. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zarin.
All right.
That was very inspirational. Hopefully, our audiences are inspired, and whoever that is scared of AI would try to embrace new changes, right? So,
Mhm.
all right. I've seen quite a number of questions coming up for our Q&A session. Now that our short explanation is done, it seems our audience is anticipating this session. So if Dr. Zarin is ready, let's start with our first question right here from Azan Yaakob. Is there any platform that involves AI that uses our national language as a part of national processing language? I noticed that there are AI that uses Mandarin, for example.
All right.
Zain?
That's a good
Mhm.
question, Azlan.
Mhm.
Malay language is known as a low resource language because there's not a lot of people using that language kan. So it's been considered as low resource language. And when it's low resource, memang there's not a lot of tools or libraries or whatever to help. But there's this one work by Mr. Hanif, I don't remember the name actually. He curates what he calls as Malaya NLP. So you can try to search that. It consists of a lot of words, expressions related to Malay language. So that is one place that you can look at lah if you are interested in learning more about Malay language for AI. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Doctor. So the next question is from Muhammad Azmi by Muhammad Jahir. How much could a fresher earn after graduate in AI bachelor's degree? Yeah.
All right.
How much?
This actually depends on the company as well, but I would say around 3,000 would be a good start lah. But it depends on the
Mhm.
company as well. If you land into multinational companies, you might get even a bit more than that.
Okay. All right. Next question from Umi Kalthum Usaini. What's your opinion on the employment or career demand for AI in the future?
All right.
So what is the future?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Like I mentioned in the slides, the job is quite on demand. Because it's being predicted like I showed just now up until at least until 2025 the top 10 jobs, five of it is in the field of AI. And even in Malaysia, um, I would say data analytics lah, being a data analyst or data scientist, that would be the most highly sought of grads nowadays. So almost all companies I would say is developing its own data analytics department or branch. So
Mhm.
people who graduated with data analytic skills is really sort of for lah right now.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Next, we have a question from Zeke. Is it
Mhm.
expensive to pursue a degree in AI? Is there any sponsorship or some sort offered by UTEM?
All right. Pursuing AI is the same as pursuing other courses. So the fee is quite the same. So if you're pursuing in a public university, inshallah, I think the fee is uh, low enough lah for everyone to enroll. And of course, in UTEM we do have sponsorships. So it's either from UTEM itself or the other usual sponsorship provider lah, macam PTPTN and all that. But I would say it's not expensive lah to pursue a degree in AI, especially in public universities.
Okay, it's quite affordable then. All right. Okay, thank you, Doctor. Next question from Ashandi Mohammed Noor. The data analysis course, like you mentioned just now, 6 months course, is available at UTEM now? Or dia tanya, is it available at UTEM now? How does the uni conduct their class?
Right, for the one that I mentioned, the course one that is not in UTEM, right? You can check out MDEC. They do have this kind of program with other private organizations. But in UTEM, if you already have a degree in whatever courses, you can further doing a master's in what we call as Masters in Data Science, MTDS. So of course there's two method, either part-time or full-time. So currently, because of the pandemic, everything lah, part-time, full-time, all is online. But later on, the full-time, you would have normal classes every day. Part-time, it would be either certain days in the week or during the weekend or at night. So there are some arrangements lah. And if you come from a non-technical or non-computer science background, what we do is we give you bridging classes. So you would start about maybe a few months before the actual master classes, and you would take an intensive course on programming, data structures, algorithms, and all that, depending on your background lah. So if you already know programming, maybe you don't need to take that. You just take data structure. So we will look at your degree, and we would advise lah on whether to go ahead for the masters in data science or do some bridging first.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we have another question from Mama Azmi.
All right.
How to pursue master in AI at UK, like doctor, or how did you pursue masters
Right.
in AI?
First, I think would be to dream of pursuing it. So you need to have a target. I think I started my degree 2007. Sometime around 2010 or something like that. After a few years doing my degree, I said that, oh, I want to further doing my masters. And even before I graduated, I start looking for opportunities. So I applied directly to the university. So I applied several universities in the UK because I aim to go there. Usually they would accept your transcript. Maybe let's say you already do a few years, you only have like 1 or 2 semesters left. Usually they would accept your transcript up until there lah. So even though you're not graduated yet, you can apply, and they will usually give you a conditional offer. So once you graduate, you would show them your certificate and your final grade and all that. Then only they would give you an unconditional offer to go lah. And then to further in the UK, of course, it costs you some money. So
Yeah,
not
true.
just looking at opportunities, I think the last semester I started looking for sponsorships. So I look at all the requirements even before the deadline, even before they start opening for the sponsorship. I look for it and I try to read past experience to see what are the requirements needed so that I am prepared for it lah. So dream and start early. I would advise. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next question from Jason Valentine Lim. Any programming languages to start AI on? Is there a main language for AI primarily?
All right. I wouldn't say there's a main language, but for now, the most popular one would be Python. Okay, because
Mm,
Python has a lot of library that would help you to do AI. So let's say you want to do computer vision, so you don't want to always program that part because it's already there, right? So instead of programming that part again, you just call the library. There's a lot of library like that in Python, so that would be I would say, I wouldn't say the main language, but the most used for now. But if you want to know about the language to start off, even on your own, because nowadays there's a lot of I would say materials online for you to learn yourself.
mm-hmm,
C++ would be the best programming language to start lah. It's simple, and
mm-hmm.
once you understand C++, you can do whatever other programming language.
Okay, so C++. Okay, all
Mhm.
right. Since we are coming to an end of our slot today,
Mhm.
I'm going to read out the last question from Umi Kalsum.
Mhm.
Usaini, what's the hardest thing you've encountered in this field so far, and did you manage to solve it?
This is a hard question. I think
This
also
is
the
a hard
hardest
question as well.
question that the hardest thing that I face is this question. um, I'm not sure. I don't think there's one that I would say hardest. All has its challenges. And yeah, what would be the hardest? Okay, maybe like in terms of research, because if when I'm doing my PhD, I do a lot of medical related research. That would, I would say it's quite hard to get those kind of data in Malaysia. So
I see.
I ended up not pursuing that anymore. I don't do medical data anymore because it's quite hard and almost impossible to get.
Mm,
So that's why I switched towards social media data because it's really
I
available
see.
and open. So if nowadays, luckily people are more they realize the importance of data, like especially after COVID-19. There's a lot of data on the pandemic and everything, and everyone is trying to do predictions, look at the rates of death and everything. Almost all of the government agencies and all that realize the importance of data and the importance of sharing data. So maybe in the future this will not be a problem anymore, lah, hopefully.
Mhm. All right.
Right?
Okay, so thank you so much, Doctor, for answering that last question. And now our Q&A session is done. So we have reached to the part that everyone is waiting for, the short quiz. So our quiz will test your understanding and also speed. So the link to Mentimeter, the medium that we'll use for our short quiz, will be up at the comment section. So you can click the link, okay, or enter the room code PQFFYMZIRG@menti.com. So when you are joining, if you are joining this quiz, please make sure to put your real name. And if you only have one device to watch our slot and play the game at the same time, make sure to return to our slot after the game so that you know the winners. Okay, so I think should we just start now?
Let me also, maybe we can share the screen as well.
Yeah, I share the screen for Mentimeter so you can see the
All right.
questions.
So we do have about 30 participants so far. Maybe we wait a bit.
Wow. Okay, let's wait.
How many participants do we have? Yeah, do you know that, MC?
I'm not sure how many
All
participants.
right, because at least we can roughly know when to start, right?
Okay.
So now we have
How
about 30.
many so far? Oh, it's in the Mentimeter.
So
Now
in
we
Menti
have
now we have about 32.
now we have 32. So I think we'll start at like 35 maybe. Is that okay,
35,
Doctor?
yeah? All right,
Yeah.
I'm okay. Up to you guys.
Right.
So now we have 33, 32. It's going in and out. Maybe it's the internet.
Yeah, it's probably. Okay, let's just wait a little bit more. So we will have 4 winners. Okay, the grand prize will be a 50 ringgit cash, and the 3 others will get a limited edition college T-shirt. So make sure to join, guys.
So just let me know, yeah, when you want to start, and I will start.
Okay. All right. I think that's quite a lot already. So I think we can start now.
All right. Okay. So I will start the countdown.
Right.
All right. Let's get the
So
first
the
question.
first question, what was the question proposed by Alan Turing that starts the idea of AI?
Right. So the faster you answer, the more points you will get.
3, 2, 1. Okay.
All right. So we got quite a lot number. Correct. So the question was, can machine think? Yeah. So that was the question that Alan Turing proposed. So let's see who get the most marks.
Jason Lim
All right.
is in the lead right now. Okay.
No worries. We have more questions. Okay. So get ready for the next one. All right. So
Question
remember to
2.
answer fast. Yeah. All right. So the next question is,
Which of the
which of the
following
following?
is not a major branch of AI? Is it machine language, neural network, or fuzzy logic?
Mhm.
3, 2, 1. You must be fast, guys.
Okay, only 5 of you got it correctly.
Oh
So this is
no.
a tricky question, yeah, because it's actually machine learning is a major branch of AI. Machine language is not. Okay, so I purposely put that trap, and most of you fell into it. That's fine. Okay, let's see who's the 5 that got the answer correctly.
I see. So Jason Lim, Azmi.
So Jason is still in the
Okay.
lead.
Yeah, Jason is in the lead.
Right, we have 3 more questions. Let's move to the next one. All right, we ready? I will start the countdown. All right, so what is intelligence? Okay, simple question. What is intelligence? Ability to mimic human, ability to adapt and react, and ability to fool others. So what is it? Good. So most of you answered the correct one.
Correct.
So who's the fastest?
So is that?
Right,
Oh,
so
now Harrison is in the lead.
yeah, we have a new leader. Right, so the 4th question. All right, get ready. Okay.
Which of the following is an application of machine learning?
Right. So 14 of you answer correctly. Okay. So machine learning get personalized movie recommendation lah is the application because I mentioned about Netflix just now, right? So it uses machine learning to suggest find the shortest route using what we call optimization. So I did not explain about that. just now. And then turn on the light using an app is actually an application of IoT, Internet of Things. So congrats to the 14 that got it correctly. So let's see the score. So Harrison is still in the lead.
Wow, Harrison.
Right, so this is the last question. So answer correctly and fast to get a chance to be one of the winners. I will start now. All right.
Which of the following non-technical skill is recommended to pursue AI?
Right, so most of you got it correctly. So it's critical thinking. Okay, so honesty is good for you to have, but it's not one of the recommended that I mentioned lah. Working independently, not well, it depends.
Not
In
encouraged?
UI, we need a lot of teamwork as well, again. So um, if you can work independently, is good, but you need to also be able to be a team player. So the one that I mentioned was critical thinking, right? So let's see who's the overall winner. I think we're gonna get a new leader here.
Oh,
Oh no, still Harrison.
oh, it's
Congratulations.
Harrison. Congratulations.
So it's the top
Okay.
four, is it?
Yeah, so the winner, the grand prize winner is Harrison, and the three others, I didn't actually catch their names, but
I think
can
that's
we look, can we look
I
back
think
at
it's Isabel. Second is Isabel
Isabel?
Natalie Walter. Third is
Isabel, okay,
Shazanani Aiman.
okay.
And fourth
Fourth,
is the Isa, is it Teresa?
Teresa. Okay, so we've got our top four winners now. So congratulations to our winners. So now we're done with our short quiz. Okay, so our winners, to claim your prize, please send your details that are your name, educational institution, telephone number, matrix number, and tutorial class to the email bm-3368 at moe-dl.edu.my. This information will be at the lower part of your screen. Okay, you can see that. So this winners, take note lah. Okay, so with that last activity done, it was quite fun walaupun kita 5 questions and we had to be fast. So we are wrapping up our third and also final slot in BUAL Bicara Bersama Pakar STEM. Okay, on behalf of Labuan Matriculation College, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Zarin. So thank you so much for sharing so much valuable information with us today. And I hope our audiences are more interested and have picked up lots of new knowledge on this field, artificial intelligence. And also thank you to STEM-STEKML team who has worked hard behind the scene. Without them, this program wouldn't be possible. And not forgetting our dear audiences, thank you so much for tuning in today's webinar. Our team really hope you gained something beneficial from the 3 slots held today. Dr. Zarin, would you like to say anything before
Right.
we end our slot?
First of all, thanks to Miss Atia for accompanying me. Yeah.
Yes,
I,
no
I,
problem.
I
It was my
had
pleasure.
great fun. And thanks as well to College Matriculasi Labuan for inviting me, and as well the technical team and all that for making this a smooth journey. And thanks to all the participants who joined in and participated with the questions and the quiz as well. Right. So thanks again. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so before that, final reminder to our audience, don't forget to fill in the attendance form, okay, link Kehadiran for this program. That's linked in our video description below. So with that, we end this slot. Thank you, and I hope everyone had a beneficial time with us today. So thank you, Dr. Zarin. Thank you, our
All right.
audiences, and goodbye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.